Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Farm Expert 2017. Have you had enough yet? I think we'll run through a couple seasons. I wanted to do it on 2016, but there were so many bugs, and I got tired of it, and eventually I just couldn't do it anymore. So today it is April 1st, still April Fool's Day, and we are starting on. Oops, I didn't mean to get out. But hang on, 1 second. As I was saying, we are not meaning to get out of the tractor. We are starting our farm up. I have bought a bunch of animals and food to get them through the month. We have enough money to pay our first loan payment. We did take out a whole bunch of money in order to hopefully make the farm survive. I have to find where my cultivator and my plow are. Unfortunately, one of the fields is already sown with wheat. But I will not have a harvester to gather that, so I'm going to just put corn for everything. We're going to make corn silage like we did before. Do these open? No. So I need to find where my stuff is. Maybe if you look on our map, machinery. It doesn't really show us dots where they are. So where is this? Enter, go home. I guess I'm just going to have to send them home, which cost $100 each. That sucks. But I don't know how else to find them. They're not, it's like... Alright, so they're both home now. There they are. I don't know where home is, so sorry guys. It sucks that I have to use up our money to do that, but... Just expenses of the farm. Somehow it always puts a map marker. I'm trying to turn map markers off. I don't need the map marker right now, but it comes back on again after a while. Another bug to report. Okay, so if we look at the map, we own the two fields that I'm looking at right here, and there's also one to my left. These are all right on the farm, and then we also own an orchard. And like I said, one of them is already sown, but we're going to unsow it because I don't... we need to grow corn. I don't have the facilities to take wheat. And wheat, like I said, doesn't get us much. Now, I might be doing this the totally wrong way. If somebody else knows a different way to do it, let me know. But I have not found in this game any way to successfully farm without doing the animals. You just don't make enough money. Later on in the game, when you're making a lot of money, you can do them. Are those girls in bed, Seth? Alright, hold on 1 second, folks. I gotta get the kids to bed. Every night they fuss. It's like it's a big surprise. Oh, you have to go to bed. What? So let's take a look at the information of the field that we're going to drive onto. They might already be plowed and ready to seed, some of them. Some of them are already seeded, like I said. Let's see. This is plowed and cultivated. And this is sown with wheat. Crap. It's not fertilized. I hate to... I mean, that's like... But what am I going to do with it? I can't do anything with it. Makes me sad. Alright, but here we go. So we're going to put the plow to the test. For those of you that watch the tutorials, we've seen this already, but this is how you do it. Alright, or somehow like that, right? Yeah, there we go. Alright. I don't want to collect the crops. I want new crops. What's up, Ryan? How'd the shop go, buddy? Good. My kids went shopping.
Next time I see people at the farm, can we yell, bring back Harambe?
Bring back Harambe?
Bring back Harambe!
Oh my gosh. Ryan.
Or Pokemon sucks. Either one more.
Pokemon does not suck.
I think saying Pokemon sucks will make people change after us, though. I wasn't going to do it Mark's Riata because that's the only Riata here in Medina.
Yeah, like no one would know what car that is because it's the only Riata in Medina. It's a good idea not to do that. Nope, wrong button. I knew I would do that. I knew it.
Why am I always bleeding?
I don't know. We should see a doctor about that.
Bleed more than girls.
All right, so we're gonna lower the plow again. I will get good at this eventually. This tractor has plenty of power for this this plow. I'm not getting slowed down or stuck or anything. Now, it's nice and dry weather, so we don't know what the weather's going to be because I don't have the weather station yet. We will buy it eventually, but... Whoa, jump forward. And that's one of the issues that this game used to have, where it jumps forward, so... And let's tilt this over. Come on, rotate that thing. I pressed the button. Whoops. Sometimes the buttons don't respond. That's another weird thing with this, too. It's like I press it and nothing happens, but then eventually it catches up. I know, I'm destroying a crop. I don't want the wheat. I want corn. So I think the other fields are not yet sown. But we're unsowing the wheat. Somebody's in my stream watching probably going, what the heck is he doing? Why are you... It says it's sown already. What are you doing? Go. We'll move forward, up. There we go. Sometimes I get this good, but sometimes it's really hard to get the workflow. Put this in. And the nice thing is you can see in the back what you're doing with that screen. Boy, the volume gets really quiet inside the tractor. It's a noise reduction tractor. Oh, that looks not so real. Maybe, I don't know. I've never actually been inside a tractor when you're plowing, so maybe that's exactly what it looks like. It's like, whoa, that looks exactly like a real plowing tractor. I love the way the headlands get all torn up. The headlands. Like where the end of the field.
That's what that's called?
I don't know. I'm making that up. I think it is actually, but in Europe, I don't think we call it headlands here in America. They probably just call it the end of the field. It's the end of the field, so we call it the end of the field. That's what we call it. So does this game perfect? No. I mean, it's still kind of corny looking, too. There, I pressed the lights off and it didn't go off. Right. And I could put my double tires on, but I don't have them on, and I don't seem to be needing them too much. I was spinning my wheels a little bit there, but... Yeah, it works, but it's not perfect. It looks better under certain lighting. And here, like where I'm doing it now, it kind of looks goofy. Oh. All right, so, oops, let me turn those off. Gosh. Oh, I guess I was in reverse. Gosh. Got the lights off now because it is the middle of the day. So we have our weight on to prevent adverse conditions. Like they said, having the weight on is good for preventing adverse conditions. Yeah, the graphics are kind of bleh. It's funny. It's oh, this game, it's so close, but yet so far. I really wish we had deformable terrain in the farm sim, but this might have been one of the reasons why they decided not to do it, because obviously you've got, you know, the whole, if the tractors don't go in it and look right when they do it, it looks kind of hokey. Now, like, the people that got this kind of stuff right, and I've talked about this before, are Spin Tires. The developer for Spin Tires really, he did a good job getting that feeling of, like, the tractor sinking into the ground, you know. He really did. Bless his heart. That warning's never going to go away. Yeah, I know. I'm plowing. That's what I'm doing. But I wonder what the improved ability does being a plowman. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish plowing these fields. I know it's kind of a... After a while watching, it's kind of like... Ugh. But that's what we're doing. So I'm going to plow all these fields. All 3 of them are getting plowed today and then cultivated. And then seeded if we have time. We'll have to see what the clock's looking like when we're done with that. So I will catch up with you in a little bit. One thing I did notice as I'm plowing, you'll see that the plow does not get dirty, and that's kind of aggravating.
Ryan wants to watch you.
Okay, that's cool. Let me know when you guys are ready.
We're ready really soon.
Okay. It's kind of funky. How the tractor's getting all dirty, but the plow is like spotless. That's kind of goofy. And that's one of the things that they did not fix from the last version. So Farm Sim's got them beat there. The plows get dirty, and that is real life. Feels like real life. Oh well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? This is pretty cool. I will say this, you have to really like groundwork. This game is about, you know, spending a lot of time working the fields, and then you have just kind of like a management section where you know, advance the year, make sure that your animals are fed, as you go up to the harvest portion of it. Probably more like a real farm, because you really have to go through the calendar year. It's not like tomorrow this crop is going to be ready. Unlike the Farm Sim where the crops are ready every day or every other day, maybe every 3 days. These crops are ready in September, I think, or October. So you harvest like late in the year, especially with the corn. The corn takes longer to grow. You can get 1 or 2 harvests with some of the crops, maybe 2 harvests. I think I've seen people say that they can get two in. But with corn, it's 1 harvest, and it's at the end of the year. So this first year is going to be lean because our cows are only eating hay. I don't know if there's... I mean, you could do the grass stuff, but how are you going to afford any other equipment? I don't understand that. You'd have to buy like a mower and have a grass field and all this stuff. I'm still not understanding that dynamic. So it seems like this is the way you have to do it. You get them going with the corn after the first year, and then you can start buying some of that other stuff and doing it other ways. But this first year is most important, that you get the stuff that you need to feed them well, because they like that corn silage. The corn silage is what makes them produce a lot more milk. So, and I forgot to make it so that we can have room for breeding cows. I don't think that we have room for any bred cows, so we're going to be out. So you can see here that we have the field is plowed almost, well, it says 100% plowed, but it's cultivated 8%. We might have been able just to cultivate it, but it would have destroyed the crop either way, so I don't know. I'm not getting picky. We're just going to do this whole thing and cry about it later. Maybe the wheat will act as a fertilizer, but probably not. Wishful thinking. Careless sowing and careless plowing. Yeah, I can't sing, I know, so what? Doesn't George Michael's go well with farming? No? Okay, well. Oh, Ricky Skaggs. Okay, well, we can do that instead. Or Billy Ray Cyrus, if you want to go back a little bit. I should actually make a farming song about the Farm Sim and Farm Expert. We could make it like a Farm Sim versus Farm Expert parody song. I think I'm going to do it. It probably won't be until November, but I'm going to do it. So we have taken wheat down to 1.68%. There's no wheat left on this field. Yeehaw. Scarified. Heavy metal shredding doesn't really go with this farm either. So it looks good. I mean, look at that. And I love the way the new field transitions are much better. Like, we're just going right into field here, so it looks like real life here. I love the deformable terrain. That is so cool. I like the way the sunflowers like pop when you go over them too. All right, so let's take a look at the condition of this field. Is oh, near-death experience. This looks like it needs to be cultivated and plowed. So we have... All right, so we're going to go this direction. And we're going to start plowing. So off we go to do some more plowing. Thank you for the viewers that are watching on the live stream. Nice to see you guys out there. Let's see who it is. We'll take a real quick look here. We have Boxy and Felk. I've also had earlier Rylan, Mo Michael, and Benny. Welcome aboard, guys. I know you can't hear me right now. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get my mic working through the chat, too. I don't have the settings right for that, but give you guys a shout out. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for watching the stream. Once again, the stream is through Steam, and I find it's just the easiest. I don't have to install any specialized software or anything like that. It just does it. So that's probably how I'm going to go in the future. Well, that's interesting. It didn't harrow the end of the, or plow the end of the field. That's okay. Alright, so now. Alright, so I'm going to continue plowing. We'll catch up in a couple minutes. I know it's kind of boring to watch over and over again. So, but once again, that is one of the things with the game. Some people complain about it. They say it's too tedious because you have to always do the field work. But the farm sims go in that direction too. I don't mind it. Once again, what you're farming, right? So don't you need to do field work? I mean, real farmers get out once a year in their tractors and they plow. And then they get out again. And I know that they don't plow every year. I know that that's not the way it goes. But they do plow when they're changing crops, and then they also cultivate. If you want the best soil health, you do want to plow and cultivate. So farmers do it, and so there we are. So we're doing it. All right, see ya on the flip side. One of the interesting things I saw that I noted is that on in the demo that people were playing, like Brad M, they had a pickup truck. I haven't seen the pickup truck in the store yet. It might be under other or something, but I didn't see a pickup truck yet. That doesn't mean it's not. Whoops!
Daddy?
Yeah?
So, you guys want to watch Trinity Blood?
Yeah, we are.
The anime?
The M&A.
M&A.
The M&A.
Sounds like a fun anime.
I want to get a couple screenshots here.
If any of you watch any anime, put in the comments which one they are.
Thanks, Seth. Seth is doing shout-outs now on my channel.
There's some pretty good animes out there.
Sorry, I just need to get some cool screenshots. Figured as long as I bounced out of the tractor, I might as well do it, right?
Ryan said he's watching it with you, so that means...
Rubus is watching with me. So you can also do it from in the cab. Like I said, this experience is somewhat realistic. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's somewhat real. I mean, the way that the tractor rotates back to flat, though, instead of like staying pulled into the ditch, that's a little corny in my mind, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I hate when people say that, so I'm sorry. I can't stop. It are what it are. It be what it be. Oh, but you can hear the backup beeper better when you're in the tractor. That's funny. I mean, realistic, too. Ugh, come on. Pull straight. Improved ability. Power! I've got more power now when I run the tractor. Somehow, magically, the tractor has more power. Power. Now, I could do this with an extra wheel. You probably would do that if it was wet out. I don't know. I mean, it did make a difference in the tutorial, but I forgot, so. We'll try it on the last field and see how it does. The one thing I want to point about this menu that cracks me up is they could have used the space a little more wisely and not had to make this. If you look at the F1 screen, it's small, but when you go to F2, it gets real expanded. And for what? Like 3 lines of text? They could have just put those at the bottom or made it smaller. Like maybe if the numbers fill up, it needs more space. I don't know. Look how much larger it is. That wasn't the way it was in the last version. The screens were all the same size. I don't like that because it takes up some of your view room. But whatever. Still plowing. Look at how the tractor's getting dirty. It looks really good. Too bad the plow doesn't get dirty. It's like the immaculate plow. Man, here we go. I'm going to offend some people. Sorry. It wasn't meant to be offensive. It was just meant to be silly. Don't take it too seriously. All right. I'll be back. I will say that one thing I'm noticing is that the wheels don't seem to be getting any dirtier either, and that's kind of hokey. They look really good, like they look like real tractor wheels, but they're not getting any dirtier as the rest of the tractor gets completely covered in dirt. So, and we're starting to see some of the limitations of the game. You know, once again, it's not the end of the world. I'm still really enjoying this experience. So, like I said, it's like a fixed version of the 2016. It's still got some bugs, as we found out in the sugar beet tutorial with the sugar beet harvester not having the tempostat working and animations weren't working properly, and some of the stuff's finished, some of it's not, and that is typical of this company to release games before they're done and never finish them. And unfortunately, I hate to say that. Hopefully they will change that track record here, but at least they've fixed a lot of the problems that made the other game almost unplayable. So I feel like this is definitely much more playable at this point, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to playing this game more than I played the other one, for sure. The other one was good, but not so good. This is actually a lot of fun, and it's enjoyable. I would like to get an orchard started at some point, but we're going to have to, once again, save up. The tractor is $16,000. Obviously, you need a seeder, and then you're going to need a harvester, and so that's, you know, you're looking at probably $100,000 to $200,000 in investments for that. I'm not going to do that yet. I don't have the money, obviously, to do it, and so I don't have a choice. But eventually, I will, and I am going to do it for sure. So we are going to. This is a nice Class A soil. We're 97% plowed here. It's basically half an acre or half a hectare. 97% plowed. When we're done with this line, it'll be 100% for sure, 99%. And it'll say 100% before we reach the end, but we're not quite. Maybe not. There's 100% plowed. So let's go ahead over to the farm and put on our double wheels, because we can. We have no way to clean the tractor. It makes me sad. Oh, look, it's leaving dirt on the road. That's cool. Your tractor needs to be cleaned. It's making a mess everywhere. All right, let's go in here. El Shoppa. This is not the shop. I thought it was, but it's not. D is for speed. Where is my tractor shop? I know I had one. I drove in there. Oh, here it is. I'm looking right at it. Right in front of my face.
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, Seth.
When do you guys have to play more Borderlands?
I don't know. Sometime hopefully this week. Nope, that's not what I want. Nope, that's not what I want. Ugh. That's what I want. Let's see. Select to repair the tinsmithing. Specifies wear and rust of the body of the vehicle. 36 euros. Current consumption 4%. We can repair. We can install the jack. What does that do? Oh no, that's the. Okay, that's cool. We don't want that though. Change the wheels. We're gonna go with the double wheel setup, and let's go ahead back out of here. That didn't cost anything. That's really cool. So it's like part of your. You just have those wheels in stock when you have the tractor. That's pretty cool. Having some camera issues here as we're getting out of the building. Going to have some fitting issues as we try to fit through this little alley here with the huge double wheel tractor. Alright, and we're going to do our last field, which, oops, was right there. I could have gone right there to do it. And then we need to cultivate. So, as you can see, this is quite a process. It's not just like a one-day thing. You got to...
Jeez.
What's that?
I said, excuse me, jeez.
Excuse you for what?
Yeah.
Farting? Seth, are you farting on live YouTube?
No.
No. Soupy. Alright, so now we should be able to plow even better. Double wheels. Off we go. Oops. Double wheel. Actually, we could probably run it. We could try to see if we can plow at a higher speed. Look at this. We can. Not much. It seems like 15 is about the limit there. But we're also on flat ground. But we should. This should keep the tractor flatter as we plow. This is really cool. It takes us about 2 hours to get the plowing done, maybe a little bit less. I think I missed the rivulet, the wheel hole. There we go. Put that down. Once again, I'm on a hillside. I've let go of the gas and I stopped sliding. That was a big bug in the last version. So now we can actually play the game without sliding all over the place, and that is a nice fix. This is much easier to do with these double wheels on, for sure. I should have just done this in the first place. You just kind of plop along, no problems. It keeps the tractor level so that you're not sinking down into the dirt. So they really were right. There is a difference in handling when you do the plow with the wheels. The double wheels. Double wheels make me plow fine. Sorry. I do sing occasionally. If you're new to my channel, I have a bad habit of just singing really poorly in the middle of videos, just out of nowhere. So, welcome to my channel. If you don't like it, you can go elsewhere, because I'm always going to sing, even if I'm bad. See if I care. See if I cry if you leave. I'll be sad if you leave. Don't leave. I'll stop, I promise. I can't. I try, but I can't. Oh, this is so much faster and easier. Why didn't I do this in the first place? Wow. What a diff. What a diff lock. We're going to plant that wheel in the ditch. We're going to put this thing down, and off we plow. Oh, man, I'm just realizing I have a wedding this weekend. Oh, I got to get up. I don't have to get up early tomorrow, but then I have... I'm doing the music at church on Sunday, which means I'll get home, and then I have to get up at... no, 7. I have to be there. I think I have to be there at 7:30. Because at 7:45 we do our little talk and then we practice. We talk about what's going to happen during the day, and we had a horrible thing happen a couple weeks ago. Actually, probably like a month and a half ago now. I got to church and everybody was like, some of the girls from the worship team were out in the parking lot crying, and I'm like, what on earth is going on? Like, boyfriend left, or I mean, what happened? Like, why is everybody out here crying? When I get in the sanctuary and everybody's like super quiet, and you know, I'm like, what is going on? And then it turns out, this is so sad, the pastor's best friend and kind of like one of the deacons of the church. Our church is pretty laid back, so a deacon is a rough term because it's not really, I don't know, there aren't really deacons at our church. It's pretty casual, but there are guys that are, pretty deeply involved in the church and planning and stuff like that, and this is one of those guys. The pastor and his son, and then this guy named Jim, were out riding motorcycles, and it started to rain, so they pulled under a bridge. And then it stopped raining, so they went back out again. And as they were maybe just down the road a little bit, and they were only going maybe 25 or 30 miles an hour, Jim lost control of his bike, and the bike threw him into the oncoming traffic, and he was killed. I want to say he died probably within a couple minutes. Like, it was quick enough that, that obviously the ambulance didn't even get there before he died. But they called his wife. Obviously, can you imagine getting that phone call? Man. They called his wife. Oops, wrong button. And she got to say goodbye. I don't know if he heard it or not necessarily, because he probably was obviously dying. But it was just it was a horrible situation. And so it was a really weird day, though, like just for the whole practice and stuff. And that was the last service that I did before I left on vacation. I was like, oh, man, like what a somber way to leave the church. Now we're back again, and they're doing okay. I just feel so sad for the pastor, obviously. He and his son were like, holding the guy as he's dying. You know, it was just like a horrible situation.
Sleep.
Get to bed, Goose.
Dad, are you talking about Uncle Litter?
What?
Are you talking about Uncle Litter? She's not talking about Uncle Litter.
No, that was a long time ago. My brother-in-law died a long time ago. Unfortunately, committed suicide. And my brother-in-law, she's a horrible night tonight. Well, we won't go into details, but I was kind of the one that found him. So it was not a nice situation. My brother-in-law, my other brother-in-law was with me when it happened. He had left a goodbye letter, and my wife got it and was like, "Oh my gosh!" And so she's like, "Get over there!" Like she hadn't gone with me. It was my ex-wife at this point. And so I went next door and got my brother-in-law, the other one, because they lived next to each other. And I'm like, "Hey, listen, this is probably what's going on." And so we went in there, and sure enough, he was dead. So yeah, it was not a. That was a horrible experience too. That was almost surreal. Like even now, 10 years later, I still have a hard time coping with all of that. It was just such a weird, sad thing, you know. So this is going a lot quicker. Anyway, I will after those horrible, terrible stories. I'm going to leave you for a little bit. I'll be back for you. It will seem like no time has passed at all, but for me, I will have finished the rest of this field. So I will see you guys in a couple minutes here. Talk soon. Oh yeah, so anyway, my whole point about the motorcycles, I was sitting to think about that for like, why did I go into that story, was that I know I talked on my channel about buying a motorcycle, and obviously I was in the middle of thinking maybe it wasn't a good idea, and I had a lot of people telling me, no, it's super dangerous, don't do it. You know, like I even had one of my viewers tell me, hey, if you love your kids, don't buy a motorcycle. They're fun, they're great. If you love your kids, be there for them. Don't die in a motorcycle accident. They're just way too dangerous. And so I decided not to. And then right after I made that decision, all of that happened. And then I'm like, wow, I'm just, you know, I was on the verge of buying one. I actually had the money together to buy one. And I'm seeing some glitching going on here with the field. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's kind of glitching back and forth. Now it's doing okay. For right there in that section, though, it was acting weird. So once again, double wheels, yes. If you're going to plow, put the double wheels on. And funny thing is, you know, this is one of those areas. You know, there are some areas where this game totally beats the heck out of the farm sim. And that is, obviously, the double wheels actually work. In the farm sim, double wheels don't do anything. They look pretty, but they're not. They don't help you in any way, shape, or form with your traction or the performance of the tractor. But in this game, they actually make a big difference. So I think that's kind of cool, that you can actually use the double wheels and have them make a difference in how the tractor performs. One of those areas where this game has farm sim beat, and it does in several areas, but I want to make clear to all of you that the farm sim is still king. I mean, it just has so much more than this game as far as, you know, graphics and much deeper, you know, player situations. And but this is fun. I'll tell you what, I am having a good time with this game. It's definitely worth the buy. I know there's some of you that are going to get mad at me for saying that. I don't understand why people get so polarized about their games. Can't you enjoy more than one game? I never understood that mentality. It's like, you know, it's like the whole thing with No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous. People will like threaten to chop your neck off if you like Elite Dangerous, but if you like No Man's Sky. But if you don't like No Man's Sky, they'll threaten to chop your neck off. It's just like, dude, can't you like both? You know, Elite Dangerous is great. No Man's Sky is great. It's not perfect, no, but it's good. Same with this game. Same with the farm sim. This game is not perfect. Is it better than the farm sim? In some places. Is the farm sim better than this? In some places. I mean, it's like, why can't we play both and enjoy both? Why do people get so angry about it? I don't understand that. But they do. But too bad. It's my channel. I'm going to play this game. It's a new game. I want people to watch it and enjoy it, and hopefully they can make a decision wisely based on that. If this is the game for them, then hey, great. If it's not, well, move along. But it doesn't hurt you to watch the video. It's not going to, like, bite you or nothing. I'm not trying to, you know, tell you when. It's the same thing. Like, I always remember the console wars. They always crack me up because people are just so loyal to whatever system they have. You know, they're like, oh, man, Sony is the best ever. You know, and Microsoft is the evil empire. And, you know, people get into, like, fist fights over which console is better. And I'm just like, What about the GameCube? I stand back and get the third-party one. Like, oh, nobody bought the Dreamcast, but I loved it. Seriously, though. I mean, I've owned... And I know I tell people I'm not a console person, and that's not necessarily totally true. I used to be. I just love PCs. If I'm going to spend $400 or $500, I'd rather put it into a part for my computer that's going to make my computer run faster, better. I am no longer wasting money on consoles. They just cost money. So you got to buy controllers. You got to buy. Then you have to buy disc games. There's no Steam. Though sometimes they're getting better at that. Like a lot of the video games now have an in-console store. But I don't know. I am not a console player, and I have people asking me all the time, like, are you going to play Farm Sim on the PS4? And I'm like, well, I would, but I don't have a PS4, and I'm not planning on buying one. Like I said, if I'm going to spend $400 on a system, it's going to be like a new video card or more RAM or a better processor. I'm not going to spend money on another console that's going to be obsolete in 3 weeks, you know. And they do obsolete quickly. I for a while there, I've owned, in my lifetime, let's kind of go through it here. You ready? For those of you that are new to the channel, some of you that are old have never heard this. I started with an Atari 5200. Now, my uncle had the original Atari, the 2600. Well, I think it was a different name before that, though. The 2600 was like the re-release. He had Pong, like the initial black and white Pong. So that was like the first video game console ever. My uncle had it. My cousin had a Bally Midway arcade that we used to play. Let's say that again. Bally Midway arcade. You're going to have to look it up. It's a very weird console with a very weird joystick. Oh, I'm getting the call. I'll be down in a minute. I have to go. Whoa! There's a little physics problem. Sorry, I got real loud there. So we'll finish the consoles in a second here. I'm going to tell you, I owned the Atari 5200. You can look that one up too. It was a very short-lived system that had a joystick that broke really easily. But it had a number pad. It was kind of supposed to be the competitor to the ColecoVision. And it was more powerful than the 2600. The 2600 was what most people had. That's the classic Atari. The 5200 was like an upgrade version, and it had more horsepower, it had different games. Things were a lot more expensive. The controllers, I remember, being $80 a piece. People complain about games being $60 a piece now. Like, people are like, you know, almost like going to kill somebody over the price of No Man's Sky. And I remember when video games were easily $60 to $80 a piece. They used to cost that much. Every game that you bought was that much money. AAA or not. I pressed the wrong button. You know, the Nintendo titles were that much. I remember when the Nintendo titles started going down after the system had been out for 2 or 3 years, but the original Nintendo games were $40 to $50 a pop. So $39.99, $49.99, that was not unheard of for a crappy Nintendo game that would last one day. Atari games were $50 a piece. I mean, guys, we get all mad about the price of games. $17 for the Farm Sim, you know, Expert. That's too expensive for a triple B title. I'm like, no, actually, it's really a good price. Games now are so cheap that we're spoiled. But anyway, so I had the Atari 5200, and that we kept breaking joysticks. And my mom was finally like, you know what, honey, you can't. This is just not working out. Let's do something different. So we ended up getting a ColecoVision. And that system was awesome. I had so much fun with the ColecoVision. You know, that I think the Atari 2600, I think I only had, or the 5200, I only had for maybe like 2 or 3 months. And I had a lot of games for it. I had like Advanced Space Invaders and Wizards and Warlocks and all these other cool games. I remember there was one that played. It was like Asteroids, but it played like the I think it's the War of 1812 over and over and over again. It was ridiculous. So then anyway, I moved to ColecoVision. Played great games like Congo Bongo and Venture and River Raid and oh, what's the one? Was it Montezuma's Revenge? The one where you got into the... It was an Activision game where you'd go cave spelunking. I can't remember what the name of that game was. Moon Patrol, Q*bert, Zaxxon. Holy cow! I mean, that was like the money system. And then things went quiet for a while, and the video game companies almost all went out of business. I don't know if you guys... That was like the great video game depression of the 80s. They just kept making crappy games, and people got tired of it and stopped buying them, and they couldn't, you know, there was not enough money in it, so a lot of companies got out at that point. And then Nintendo came out with their NES system, and that hit the States when I was in junior high, and my friend got one, and I remember playing Castlevania, and that was like a life-changing moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got to have one of these. And it was so bad, and I'm embarrassed, but here I am making haha to all of you jerks in high school who made fun of me. When I was in junior high, my nickname was Nintendo. The jerky kid, like the jocks that hated my guts because I liked video games, that was what they called me. They were like, hey, Nintendo. And so now, look at all those morons now. I'm making $400 a month. What are you doing? I'm playing video games for money. Screw you all, I'm going home. Sorry, I usually don't get so nasty on my channel, but they were mean. The kids at Rocky River were really nasty. Ugh. Anyway, that was my name, though. My nickname was Nintendo, and I actually didn't really care because I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, you guys all freaking play it too. Don't act like you don't. I remember one time I went to, there was this one kid who was especially mean. His name was Mike Similin. That guy was a jerk. And he just was so nasty. He was always in your face. He tried to get in fights with me all the time, and I didn't want to fight him. And I'm like, no, I'm not fighting. And we never did. But he was always like just such a jerk. And he was he was like Nintendo. And then one time I walked by his locker, and he was opening the locker, and a Nintendo Power magazine fell out. And I'm like, yeah, I see that, Mike. He tried to like stuff it in there so I couldn't see it. And I'm like, yeah, I saw that, dude. Come on, who are you kidding? You play it too. Don't act like you're. Oh, man, all the things. I used to get made fun of in junior high because I liked Metallica. They were like, bang your head, heavy metal, bang your head. And then, like, 3 years later, they were all like, Enter Sandman, Enter Sandman. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's just ridiculous. So,
Oh, you were freaking...
I know. Anyway, so after the Nintendo, I did also own, I never went the Sega route until the Dreamcast. But I owned the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Dreamcast, what else did I have? I had the GameCube, the Xbox, the original Xbox, the original GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and that was pretty much where I dropped out. After that, I just kind of got sick of the whole thing, and I'm like, you know what, I like computers better, and I just started spending my money on computers because at that point I was already Nintendo 64. That's right, we had one of those. I was married. I had 2 kids at that point, and I'm like, I can't afford to spend money on these consoles anymore. They go after 2 years, they're useless. But the computer goes on for years. I mean, my last gaming PC lasted me almost 8 years. And you guys have a lot of the YouTube videos that I made were on that computer. This one's only like 2 or 3 months old now, the one I'm playing on now. So that computer lasted me through a lightning strike. I mean, it ran for years, even after being struck by lightning. So anyway. All right, guys, I got to run downstairs. I'm going to keep doing this. We'll pick up again and when I'm done plowing, and I will see you guys in a minute here. It'll be like no time went by at all.